We're live.
Hey, Chaos, how are you?
I'm doing great, Pamela. How are you doing?
I am good, thank you. It is May 31st, 2016. It's Tuesday. Nice holiday weekend. Got some rest. What about you?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of rest. It was the first time in it feels like weeks that I actually was able to get like 6 hours of consecutive sleep, and then I actually kept on going to sleep, and I feel so much better. I feel so much
Nice.
better. Yeah.
Nice. So what's going on? Anything new? I mean, I saw some headlines recently that kind of tripped me out. But
I've been focusing on some of the channel recommendations you've passed my way, and just getting up to speed. And I did see some headlines too, and
what's up?
the headlines were pretty concerning. They were basically about social media and cracking down on speech in general. But
In what way? Tell me. What way? What's going on?
Well, the main one I saw that really made me think was about the EU going into agreements with Facebook and Twitter and Google, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if there's any kind of a speech about race or religion, or they didn't. I don't think they mentioned hate speech, but I'm sure it's included too.
Well, wait, so what will Apollonia do with his life?
Oh, I guess he'll be resolved.
He'll have to do something else.
Yeah, he'll have to go work at,
He'll have to kill himself.
Maybe he'll go work at McDonald's or something. I don't know.
I'm sure he already does. I'm sure that's
Get some silica French fries.
That's the extent of his work, for sure. Wait. So well, for anybody that doesn't know, he's a total racist. So I mean, like in every way, he's a crazy racist.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's called me so many things.
Well, I didn't even know. I had no idea when he first attacked me. I had no idea that. I mean, I was devastated. I was like, what? Wait, what? And he wouldn't stop. And then I found him like chasing me all over the internet. I was like, what? But he does it to everyone, which is so weird. He's like a clown. But anyways, so okay, this is what I got from the story, and just tell me where I'm wrong, okay? Because it seems like Facebook and YouTube and other social media. I don't know if Twitter as well. I didn't get to look too hard, but excuse me. It looks like they're committing to policing.
Yes.
For the EU. But now is that everywhere for the EU, on behalf of the EU, everywhere, or just in the EU?
Well, it's my understanding that it was for the EU because they used the Brussels attack as an example of why they need.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
That fake thing? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Oh, that is horrible. There's
no.
You know what? I'm gonna go back to Switzerland.
Switzerland. They're neutral.
No, Switzerland is not neutral. Switzerland has been the best at pretend. I am Switzerland. I am Switzerland. Yes. No. So I want to just say, people may have been killed at Brussels. I do not know. However, it was a false flag. You know it was a false flag, right?
Oh yes, I've seen many videos about it.
Yeah. It was a false flag. So even if people did die, and I am not, there's no way I can gauge if people died. They absolutely may have, and if they have, I'm terribly sorry for their friends and family, and my condolences to their friends and family.
Yeah.
However, if it was real, it was a setup for purpose to start martial law in the EU.
And the thing is we have a candidate who actually predicted Brussels is going to happen. I mean, Donald Trump actually in an interview like months before it happened, he actually said that there was basically going to be an attack in Brussels, like a 9/11 like attack in Brussels because of.
Do you know what they were doing? Do you know what they were doing? The Brussels attack?
What?
Coincidentally, they were right in the middle of a drill.
Oh, that's always a drill, isn't it?
At the exact place. Well, so was the one in France and Paris, that they were literally all systems on board. Everyone that would ever be needed for the Paris attack, every single department was there.
That too.
Because they were doing a drill that was exactly, not similarly, the exact thing that they were currently doing a drill on was the exact thing that supposedly happened. What? Like, how do people not go like, that's, hold on, is this real world or exercise? Does that ring any bells? Is this real world or exercise? This is real world. What? Like anybody that doesn't like trigger something in like, I mean, I've heard that like 100 times. Or then there's this one. He flashes he says, "Sir, are you sure? Are you sure we don't want to? What is it? Hold on." He flashes his head. "No, I'll tell you. Why would we do anything if I haven't told you to?" What was that? You know what I'm talking about with Cheney and some. I mean, just saying, like, you know, these are. Pardon?
I was drawing a blank.
Oh, okay. So, but anyways, I mean, all of these drills, exercises are setups for action. They're excuses to have what Dick Cheney said many years ago in a paper for something for the New World Order. Anyways, you know, Cheney published a paper in like 1999.
Yeah.
Outlining every single thing that was going to take place in 2001. Everything. Like
I thought it was Wolfowitz.
Maybe he did also, but Cheney did first. Cheney literally outlined, not in a plan to represent. He did a paper explaining why the U.S. had to start theater war because no one in the world would ever go against the United States ever.
You're completely right. And Wolfowitz, what he did was he wrote the drafts for the Patriot Act, but Cheney wrote what you're talking about. Yeah,
the outline of the whole world on terror, the entire not the war on terror, the world on terror. He wrote the world. He created the world of terror. So the entire thing was, I mean, and the thing is, once you read it, Project for a New American Century is what I was thinking of. When you read his paper in 1999 for the Project for a New American Century, when you read every single solitary thing that he wrote on how the only option to continue making money and to continue moving the world in the direction that they would like would be to create a fake war and a fake Pearl Harbor and this is a quote, theater wars would be the only option to enlist the American people to have repetitive theater wars. When you read this, this is where I get so frustrated. Like, why? How can anybody not like stop right there? Like, just stop and go, hang on. What? Because everything after that is just a big blur, right? Like when you start at when you just go back and go, and you know, I started just a couple of years ago, but what I'm saying is, you know, I started with the Zeitgeist or whatever, but after that, you know, but when you start really reading, this is why I read and I continue to read Agenda 21, the actual book, the actual act. Agenda 21 is an actual act, right? So once you read Project for the New American Century, the outline, once you read that, you know it's all there. It's not the only way for in this country to do anything that would be considered unethical or illegal would be if you do it openly and there isn't pushback to the extent necessary to challenge it. And if it isn't challenged in this country with our Constitution and our laws are such that, as you know from 1871, right? Okay, so the way everything is set up is so that we need to challenge it, and that's why when they labeled people that started noticing things as conspiracy theorists and made that a psychological operation on the American people and have continued it on a daily basis, hourly basis, right, to instill this ridiculous cartoonish concept on people that are paying attention.
Exactly.
The reason why they did this was to paint people that are aware as very distasteful so that we as people would not do exactly what we are needed to do to have a functional society. And the idea that this is not a more widely understood fact base right here, what I just said should be understood by every child by the age of 10. every single person in this country should know what everything I just said. Seriously, it should be like kindergarten conversation, because without that basic information right there, we will not function and are not functioning and have stopped functioning, right? So the only way to change or to impact and to create a society that we want is to understand the way it works.
That's right. Yeah, it's completely right. And society nowadays seems like it's all stigma based. So there's a stigma like on anyone who wants to research, who wants to know the truth, who who goes out of their way to identify the facts, the real facts of what's going on. And like what you're saying with what Dick Cheney wrote, he laid out the blueprint of what exactly he had intended to do when he had the opportunity. And we're still seeing those effects today.
Well, oh my God, the whole world is. The entire world was affected by that. And that's why it's the people in other countries now actually do much more reading. And it's not even research. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it isn't even about, we shouldn't be even calling it research. We should be calling it like being alive, being intelligent, being educated. I mean, this isn't, that's right. This is not deep stuff. This is real basic stuff. And so what's happened is it's not just the stigma that we're saturated with. It's the pretense of marketing and importance and entertainment instead of news, and fake news, and news that is controlled by the government, as in a communist society, because that's how communism works. So every single thing, it's almost like they've shifted everything. Then they started turning schools, schools have changed in a progressive way. They didn't roll it out right away, but now schools are literally just propaganda machines to get the kids, just like they did with the Nazi kids. It was like
the Hitler Youth.
Yeah, the Hitler Youth, exactly. Just like so that's what they did with Hitler Youth. So I mean, these are very old tactics, and of course, communism, Marxism, the oldest tactics, the highest. Okay, no, there has never been a period in time anywhere that people killed their own people, that people have been killed by their own government, as in that, except for communism. Communism seems like, and when they say socialism, which they're really saying is soften communism, it's a whole thing. It's like a whole, they've like, I always thought socialism was a great thing. Seriously, I completely was sold, because I didn't know that what they were doing was marketing communism. Mm-hmm. Marketing. It's a marketing scam, right? So everything is marketing. Like I think
it's even a step in the Communist Manifesto.
For sure, no, absolutely. Yeah. But I didn't know, right? And most people don't know. Most people still don't know. But so what I'm saying is like, as you start to learn, once you realize, okay, these things do not add up. These things, just like the basis. So for me, knowing, when I read A Project for the New American Century, when I read the premise of that paper, all of it, I read all of it. I read it a number of times. I didn't just read it. I talked about it. I tried to share it with friends and family. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Like, I don't get it. Okay, I'm serious when I say this. I'm being completely sincere. I don't get it. How can you not care if everything else is affected in the entire world by that, right? So once you realize that these premises are fabricated, everything that we know from this perspective, then you start to really pay attention, right? And so many other things are just like this. Now, if we don't, I mean, I guess, listen, if you want to just drive your kids around, go to the carpool and lose more money every year, make less money every year, have no future for your kids, and not care that our government is actually actively killing us instead of supporting us. I mean, literally, we talked last week about quiet wars, quiet weapons for silent wars. Is that it? Or is it silent weapons for quiet? I always get it backwards.
Yeah, I can't remember.
that paper, right? The reason why that mattered so much is because in there, they spell out that when a society is willing to be robbed by the government and surveilled and attacked and mistreated without pushback, it is over for that country, for those people. And that is how they know that they have effectively destroyed a population.
Yes.
It says this in black and white. This is not something that I made up. So the reason why, again, I read, and I encourage everybody to read. The reason why it matters is because the only thing left is to get rid of the population.
Yep.
And so effectively, if you're willing to follow these very large hunks of white bread, not even breadcrumbs, these are hunks of white bread. If you're willing to, you can see why we have some stuff to fear. A healthy fear, not fear like, hide fear like, okay. And also to stop, look around, and join together as people. Like, we need to start talking about solution. We need solutions.
Oh yes, we definitely need to get our own networks of people, and that starts with us meeting people in real life, not online. I mean, yeah, you could do it online, but you really do need to get out more and start building those networks so people can help each other in many ways, more than one. It's not just having people to talk to about these kind of things, but it's also to build your safety net. And I know I've talked about certain things like that, but I mean, it's about helping each other.
Yes, but it's also it's about awareness, because we need to be really stringent about acknowledging these changes that are happening when they're happening, not a year later, not 2 years later. That's another huge issue for people are so unwilling in real time to push back.
I think I know what it is. Have you ever heard about people when someone needs help, and like say maybe there's a man that's chasing a woman, or maybe a person got in a car accident, or they need some kind of help, and then there's people who are right there, and that person's crying out, and those people do nothing, and they walk away because they just don't want to get involved. Now, when I think about that, I think about the psyche, and I think it's similar to where, like, when you go to people and you try to, tell them, hey, read this, it's the truth.
They're not in pain yet, right? They're not in pain yet.
Yeah, and they don't want to read it.
Because they're comfortable. Yeah,
they don't want to get involved. They don't want to get emotional.
But it isn't about getting involved.
Okay.
I mean, because here's the thing. I mean, how can you not notice that everybody's getting? First of all, I mean, our mortality rate it's gone way, way, way down. Like the age of death in this country has gone down like 20 years. 20 or like more, I think, because there's a whole thing going on. There's like so much going on. It's not a coincidence that the most progressive country in the world is no longer progressive, or that the sky is filled with metal and with chemicals that stop your heart or that make us toxic, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree.
It's just, the thing of it is it instead of it being just negative, right? Because it isn't negative. Shit's going on. Things are bad. Yeah. But the problem really is that people are not willing to push back so that we can stop it. It isn't about the problem. It actually is about the missing solution. So just like we've talked before many times on the show about what we want to do. We both think absolutely we need as a people to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Stop shopping, stop moving, stop working, stop showing up, stop. Don't go to Little League, don't do anything, stop. Because without our activity, moving business will not continue, and they will have to pay attention. The only way we can actually make an impact at this point, guns will not do diddly. Okay.
Exactly.
They have more. Yeah. They have every electronic form of wave and tool and attack. But the one way we can actually make an impact is by not participating in this bogus system. So I want to applaud Dutch Sense and Tattoo. It's 1009. Yeah. Yes, Tattoo 1009. I saw them on they're doing a telethon right now. And they are effectively doing what we want to do, and I'm thrilled. I am like beyond thrilled. I can't even tell you how, like, I'm so excited because they
Yes,
I don't
she
know.
is. She's very, very excited.
I'm
She's
so
very
excited because I don't know if they got the idea from us or not. I don't think they, I don't know. But if whatever, either way, I am great minds, whatever. Whatever. So they're what they're having people do, and their suggestion, I'm gonna announce it here, and I really want to encourage everyone to consider doing this. Please consider this, because we need to take action to make an impact, and we need to make an impact to save the lives of ourselves and our future generations, which will not exist. That's the truth. We can dance around it, but they're exterminating people, humans.
Yeah. There needs to be the action of inaction. Basically.
Absolutely. Thank you. Beautifully said. Action of inaction. I love that. So they're having people, on July 4th celebrating your Independence Day, but July 5th, July 6th, and July 7th, nothing. No work, no shopping, no buying, nothing. That's the suggestion. And I applaud them to no end, because we want more. We want more. We want to stop these things from going on. We want to stop being mistreated. We want to stop being tortured. We want to be able to have a conversation and get a new government. We need to start doing something.
It sounds so liberating too. Just the idea of that inaction, of the things you listed. It just sounds so peaceful.
Yes. And industry, the corporations that are the multinational corporations will not be able to ignore us. Will not be able to ignore us. That's what we're looking for. We cannot riot. We cannot be violent. There is so much we cannot do. There's pretty much everything. There's a million things we can't do. and we need to know that, it's like we the reason why we know that the Trump protesters are bogus is because it's pretty much illegal. Besides, who protests? Nobody protests. I mean, people go to support at a campaign. They don't protest. That's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But it's a whole game. There's an entire. It's a show. It's a show that's pre-planned, and they've got an outcome that's pre-planned. And I'm sure they're going to stage some more. I'm sure they're going to. I very much hope that they don't kill him. I don't think that they will actually kill him. I think that they will stage it. But it is a planned show to enlist us into bogus, ridiculous rhetoric about nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. There's nothing anybody's going to do in this government, no matter what, that is going to change anything. Hope and change got us. We're moving into Sharia law. I don't know. Anybody that can say that is, if anybody that knows what Sharia law is, they're teaching Sharia law to our students, our kids.
It's horrifying. It's really horrifying.
And in kindergarten, teaching them about sex. And teach Sharia law and sex. What? That's
the death of childhood right there. I mean,
in every way. How much weirder could it get? The polar opposites, right?
It's the indoctrination of the children. You get them young. You destroy the childhood.
Sharia law means no sex. Everything's wrong, and they're fully turning kids out into deviant sexual beings. They're having people behave as dog. And this is completely, I'm sorry. Okay, ready? So this is a big thing. This is a big thing right now. People that started.
I'm ready.
Thank you. It started in England. They have this thing. They're showing people in England living their lives as dogs, as pets. And they've got these elaborate costumes. Wow. And I'm here to tell you, just like the ones that they're doing about men dressing up like little girls and playing with kids, like he's not a pedophile or something.
Wow.
This is all funded from Rockefeller. It's 100%. It's elaborate. It's over the top. First of all, these people are nuts, but it's all a show to convince us that people are doing this, so more people will do this, so more people will be deviant, because that's part of the taking down. It's like, does Rome do anything for you? Do Greek? Do any of these things ring bells when they're bringing down a monstrous not a nation. What is it when you get too big, you become
Empire.
an empire. Thank you. Exactly. Taking down of an empire like Rome. What do we know Rome for? Little boys, right?
Yes.
Okay. Greek. Hello. So
multicultural. They all have that in common too, and also entitlements. They all have that in common too.
Yes, it is exactly. This is by the book. This is why it's top down, because our societies have been too sophisticated. Literally, we have never been this. I mean, they're destroying our culture, our ability to be happy. They're killing us in every emotional way to make us so frustrated and unhappy. And then they're injecting these just insane, ridiculous memes of reality that we're supposed to think, oh yeah, people are totally living as dogs. No, they're not. No, they're not. Yeah, did you see those costumes? Are you kidding me? Those costumes cost so much money. I can't even begin to tell you what those were real costumes. Those were costumes that they would have in like the best movie ever.
I'm glad I did not see them. I'm glad I did not see them.
I mean, you should actually see them, because it's so crazy, ridiculous, retarded, backwards, insane. But my point is, we have always been too sophisticated and too much of a civilized society to even allow this. But because people are so down and out, because people are so frustrated, and there's so much confusing stuff going on, because they're constantly feeding us in a bath of EMFs and crazy microwave technology. I mean, there's so much going on that when they inject these things, excuse me, when they inject them, people believe it. And they're like, you know what, maybe I'll try that. Hey, you know what? Maybe I am a woman. I'm a man, but maybe I am a woman. I mean,
social experiments all over the place.
They're literally, they're breaking us down so much, and we are broken down. Let's be clear about this. We are hurting. So this is why I'm saying, because we're so, we're working on limited resources, all of us, physically, emotionally, financially, whatever. These injections are not even recognized for the idiocy that they are. And I mean, because our news cycle is controlled by Rockefeller, right? Because Obama's controlled by Rockefeller. Obama's totally controlled by the United Nations. Who is Rockefeller? That is all Rockefeller. So the point is, all of these things are in play. And meanwhile, people are like, oh, really? Okay, is that what I have to play along with? And I gotta tell you, it's like, no, these things are not real. If we had the same kind of news that we had 15 years ago, before they made entertainment and news one department, if they still allowed real news on the news, people would say, can you believe this ridiculous crap? Can you believe this ridiculous? That's what would be on the news. The content wouldn't be what's going on. The content would be, can you believe they're trying to pound this off onto us as like this as real stuff? But they're not allowed to do that. So we're doing that. My point,
it would be so obvious, all the propaganda. That's why
right. Of course, if they didn't perpetuate it and push it on the news cycle, that's why we don't watch the news anymore, right? And a lot of people don't.
And they don't watch TV because of that. Because
I don't.
The propaganda just doesn't
stop.
Yeah, it's all over commercials and all over shows. It's just everywhere. Everywhere.
Do you remember years ago they weren't allowed to put drugs. Drugs didn't exist on television. Medication, that was not on television. And I have to say that at a certain point, when you're watching a commercial and they're like, are you having trouble breathing? And they roll out this breathing, and they're all, the daisies, they're flying through the daisies, they're dancing, and and then may cause you to kill and stop breathing, and your heart will stop, and your anal bleeding, and anal seepage, and your heart will stop, and it may cause you to stop being able to breathe altogether, and you will die. And you're like, what?
Exactly.
Wait. Well, what? Wait, wasn't this for people that had trouble breathing? Right? No, and they weren't allowed before, years ago. They were not allowed to promote medication on television. And I mean, so every single thing has been broken down when they I guess they stopped having I don't know, rules. Somewhere along the line, rules went out the door. Except for us, we get rules, and we're charged for everything.
Yep, we are.
If you want to breathe, you're going to have to pay.
Yeah, where's the can there at?
they actually do sell oxygen on, but I don't think they're real. But I mean, they've made oxygen so hard to get for people with, I think it's hilarious. I'm always like, why is it? Oh, it's flammable. Yes, so is paint. Yep. Paint is flammable too. You know what I mean? Can paint?
Yes.
Okay. So can paint, oxygen. You do the math. So when they, I mean, it didn't used to be so hard to get oxygen, but of course, because they're charging us, that's what a carbon tax is, right? Mm-hmm. They're actually charging us for breathing, for being on the planet, literally.
And then you have all those value-added taxes over there in the EU as well, right?
Well, they have them here. No. The EU doesn't tax the way we do. The EU taxes. The EU is socialist. I mean, we're supposedly a republic, right? So we're not even supposed to be taxed. It's actually supposedly a republic, but they call it a democracy. But we're actually supposed to be a democratic republic. But anyways, the point is that we're not really legally taxing us is not really legal. But the way we're supposedly taxed is one way, but the real way that we're taxed is by them spreading out and putting taxes on every mile we drive, or on, they keep extending it. So to be honest, as it turns out, we left England because of the taxes, and we are charged substantially more than they are in England. So not even just a little, a lot, like 20% more to live, which is such an important, like, a little bit of information. Anyways, I know we started off talking about the EU and
social media.
Yes, policing for the EU on social media, and I think it's again, I think this is something that we should be writing about, talking about, and pushing back on, because it's another way of, okay, so I actually agree. I heard somebody say this yesterday or something, that we'll never have an actual martial law in the way people expect martial law to be in this country, and I believe that. I believe that it is a Alex Jones reality that they're going to roll out exactly like martial law. I believe that they will not do it in, like, nothing dramatic will happen.
I agree with you. I know where you got this.
Right, everything is, totally. Everything in this country, I can only speak for this country, but in this country, everything is the frog in the boiling soup. Everything. And the way they're controlling us is through technology. So it is every bit as important to push back technologically with the ability that we have through technology as it is to pay attention. Like, the way we need to push back. So, like, what they're trying to do is tighten the reins on us through our social media, which isn't really free. This is part of the deal. And they've been monitoring us, just like, YouTube is really an AI. All of these vicious trolls are not really people. They're not. I mean, some of them might be, but most are not. It's an AI. This is how they're learning us. They're learning how we react, respond, so they can predict us better in real world exercise. Is this drill, or is this this is real world, guys. This is real world. But so just like YouTube is actually,
YouTube's a perfect war game, right?
Yeah, it's a war game. So when I'm just going to give you an example of how I first started to notice this. When I started noticing my monetization being turned off, like across the board, right? So I would go in to say something, and when I would respond to them, I would see all of these different. They didn't call them exercises; they call them different kind of tests that they were doing. Different things. Different. They were all, but there's like 50, maybe more, different separate tests going on within my account that they're running. Okay. And I am not unique. I guarantee you, if you look, you will see the same thing. And I will explain it in another show. I'll walk through it. I'll show. But what I'm saying is,
I'm interested in that.
Absolutely. It blew my mind. And the thing is as I've kept going, because I'm a detail freak. So I've been paying attention to lots of things. And the way the the theoretical ball is passed to another troll all of a sudden to attack completely with a, you know, like in the way
I've definitely seen that.
In the way these people seem to change personality. They miraculously leave for a couple of days or a week or two, and they come back with a completely different personality and a whole new goal. And you're like, wait a second, that's a war game AI. That is not people. Even if you've seen them, no, they're not people. I'm telling you right now. And so my point is, this is also so much of our social media is it's manipulated and
it's manufactured, right?
It's manufactured, yes. And so what's happening is, like, so when we saw, and I know the show is running long, and if you want to close it out, we can start another one in a little bit. We can.
I'm having fun.
Okay, all right, good. So one of the interesting things was, so first I want to say, there are things to look for, and I highly suggest you guys, if you're whoever's listening, to please pay attention, you know, and I know that you and I have had this conversation over and over. It's like, we really need to pay attention because they give us a lot of information. So, you know, like yesterday, I heard, and this was Kafka World something. I always forget people's names, so I want to make sure. But I saw that I saw this on it's Kafka, and I think if you type in Kafka in YouTube, you'll pretty much get her. And I love her. She's wonderful. She has just a tremendous amount of stuff. And I found her from Tattooed. So there we go. It's a full circle. But anyways, here's my point. So she had a clip of I guess the founder of Reddit on an interview saying that Reddit, unlike Facebook who has played all kinds of mental games with with the world about, you know, and changed up their people's feeds, and, you know, they've actually played mind games with people to mess with them and to see what they would do. They've actually done that. This is documented. This is not new information. This is not conspiracy theory. This is documented. I remember that. It's a really big deal. Yeah, it's a really big deal. And I wanted to say, they were busted once. They do it every day. They do it every single day. That's what's so funny. They were caught one. I mean, I find it to be hilarious because what they do, that's what they do. I mean, they're Facebook is a method. It's a method of allowing us the ability, the luxury of unloading our most private information to the world and giving it to the Stasi we call the United States government. Because we have a Stasi in the United States government. So, okay, so just to bring this full circle so you'll understand, I think I sent you this video, right? It was just a little clip, and it's Reddit saying that they're starting their own social media, but on their social media, unlike Facebook, they really know everything. They don't know some things. They know all our dark secrets. They know every single thing. And when the person that was interviewing him said, I'm not tuning in for that. And he said, try it.
Yep.
And I want to just,
very threatening.
It was startling. It was startling. It was scary because I was only left with one question. How? Mm-hmm. Where's he getting it?
I know.
We're not all on Reddit.
I know.
He was not kidding. He was serious as a mofo.
What other place could he get it other than Google, though? Google would have it all, not him. Right?
The way he made it sound.
Or maybe the government. Governments.
I don't know, honestly. And I actually think that's really where we need to go, is we need to find out what he was talking about. He was way too willing to offer that up.
He was very
to be afraid of what we find. Yeah, obviously, so that's the question.
Yeah, he was
what do they have access to? And here's the thing. The premise of I'm not doing anything wrong, so it doesn't matter, is so laughable. It is such a juvenile, infantile, ridiculous thing to say. Unless you're mentally challenged, literally mentally challenged, that statement is ridiculous. That is the silliest thing in the world. First of all, I have been accessed I've had so much, surveillance is real. It is not a joke. When one is surveilled, anything we do can be made to look like a crime. Anything. Really, literally.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. All it takes is a narrative. Once someone's got a little bit of data, they can twist it.
They can twist it into anything. The USSR was not to be taken down because it was a fair country. It was taken down because it was a monster that was destroying its people. Its people weren't allowed to do anything. I mean, it's still pretty horrible in Russia. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's been, I don't know. I mean, we get a lot of press on Russia. Yeah. And I know that for many years after the removal of the USSR, the mob was in control, and people were not even getting what they were getting before, which was food, bread and water, basically. So, I don't know. I haven't been to Russia lately, and I hear it's actually wonderful. But again, that could be press. That could be PR. And I haven't talked to people, just out of Russia for a while. Well, actually, I don't think people are coming from Russia anymore. I think they're pretty much over coming. Yeah. As well, they should be, really. I mean, this is not a party. But anyways, my point is this: we should really start. We need to be paying attention because, I mean, so a couple of years, I'm just going to give you an example of like how, I didn't know a few years ago that I was being surveilled. I didn't know. And I started to know because things were constantly particularly strange. And of course, and as it turned out, I absolutely was. And now I know why. I know why. I can see the whole chain of events, because when things started coming out about Verizon and AT&T and business accounts, and I was working with, in and out of the country, and people out of the country were constantly contacting me. And when those type of conversations were all monitored at the start, that was legitimate back then, that, any conversations that were from outside of the country coming into the country were being monitored under the Patriot Act. And I didn't know this, right? So as it progressed, apparently, maybe I became someone to monitor. I don't know. It cracks me up to even think about it. But this is how it would show itself, just like to give you an idea of how ridiculous it would be. I would be doing FaceTime with family, and we'd be having like this great conversation, right? And the minute I would say something about Apple, this is like one time it was something about Apple. I don't know. It was something technical. It was a technical, something I realized about Apple and whatever, the way they were doing something that hadn't been announced at all. I swear to God, this is true. And like it went dead. And this one time was with my sister, and it kept going back and forth, and literally we could not get get it to happen. We could not get the connection back, and we're both like, what's going on, right? We finally get it back. We try to continue the conversation. Boom, down. Okay, then like a couple days later, I'm talking to somebody else in my family. We're doing the same thing, only this was on Google Voice. We were on Google. We were both on Google Voice connections, and I'm talking to her, and I try to say the same thing. It goes dead for like a half an hour. We try it again. It goes dead. I swear. Now, this is like the weirdest thing. Then the next day, somehow
this is so weird to me.
Well, no, but I mean, it's weird. It's weird when none of us are like willing to go, oh my God. And they're okay. Now this went on. This type of problem continued regardless of what devices we used, what the connection was, where we were, what I was talking about. This went on for all of us, only with us. Not with anybody else, everybody with me. This would only happen with me, with other people, is what I'm trying to say. This would happen constantly. And it wasn't always when I was talking about something. Generally, yeah, it was actually when I started to talk about something, not even something that would matter I wouldn't think, but it would always be about something, because I worked, in hardware. I was dealing with hardware. So I would like share stuff that I would find, because I was, doing investigative work in hardware. So anyways, my point is this. So like once you realize, and then I had companies contact me after having problems over and over with software, saying your stuff is, everything you do is being intercepted by FBI, NSA, blah, blah, one or more of these people, right? So, and even then I was like, really? Whatever. Like I never took it seriously.
And wasn't your DNS rerouted too?
Yeah. So yeah, for over a year, yeah. No matter what I did, my DNS kept getting rerouted.
That is that's
Yeah.
scary stuff right there.
Especially when I didn't even know enough to know what it was, right? So I had to be told over and over and over and over and over that I was being hacked, and I did not even understand. And then whatever. I mean, I finally started figuring out some either they got smarter, or I know it stopped. I think it has stopped. But what I started figuring out, like how to stop it, how to really stop it. Like, but I would just like turn off my wireless router. I mean, the thing of it is like all of these things have gone on for me for so long, and I've had so many repercussions for things that I never did. Right? I mean, like when you have repercussions for things that you never do on a regular basis, you're like, no, wait, and it's all weird. It's all like very weird to talk about. But my point is this. My point this isn't even really about me. What I'm trying to say is, because this has already happened to me on such a severe level for so long, I already know. Even like people, so when I tell people, when I try to say, listen, this matters, they're like, yeah, it matters to you because like they screwed you. But no. It matters to me because it's no longer just happening to me. It's happening to everybody.
Yeah, if something's happening to one person, you better believe it's going to happen to others.
It happened to me for selective reasons. I was part of a begin. I was at the start. So the point is like once someone realizes, and our whole system is being substantially more corrupted every day. Like so, and let me just say like one more thing about this. Okay, so we just had at the end of this month, all of the credit cards and debit cards in the entire country have been replaced with RFID chips. Now, why has no one mentioned that theoretically this is ridiculous? It is somewhat monopoly-esque, I want to say, because yes, all of these banks are supposedly separate companies. We know that they're not, but okay, so they're all supposed to be separate companies. Why would all separate companies at the exact same time have to replace all of the cards for every single person in the country? Wait, and remove lots of options on those cards without telling us. And there's more. And these cards are trackable, as are we with the cards. But wait, you know what nobody has mentioned anywhere that I've ever heard?
What's that?
The legal agreements, the financial conversation. If every single card in the country is switched out by law? What law?
You need
what
another
law?
Contract, right? You need another contract.
That means we're going to get a new user agreement for every card in the country, which means the financial system, the banking system, most definitely. I have not read it, but I guarantee you, if you read the fine print on the new card, there's going to be no accountability for your money. It's about money. It's about banking. It's about laws. This is what I'm trying to say. How can we not acknowledge every company, private bank, public bank, credit union in the country has had to switch out a card? What the hell?
It's not secure either. It's not secure.
It's the most ridiculous thing ever. But why? Think about why. I think about why. That's what I'm trying to say. People, read the fine print. I guarantee you, your money just stopped being insured. Guaranteed. There's no way they would do it for any other reason. Why would they all do it at the same time?
Well, wasn't it already not secure? Everything was a unsecured loan to the bank, essentially, when you deposit.
It wasn't. It hadn't gone all the way. It wasn't all the way through. I think that
okay.
I actually think this is the clincher right here. I think this is, of course, remember, this is nationally every card. Or the cards wouldn't be valid regardless. So starting June 1st, no old cards work. What? That is like what? Okay, I mean seriously, like there is a level of like craziness to that is so wide, and like nobody's talking about it.
You know what's interesting? You know what's interesting about that?
Like stupid people are going, oh no, it's not really a big thing because when I called the bank, they said blah, blah, blah. Like what? Okay, all right. If you want to be stupid, you can be stupid in front of the world. But really, why? I mean, this is like the quintessential neon sign. Something's wrong, and nobody's biting.
You know what's interesting about that?
Yeah.
Is all those companies have done that, but one company that hasn't done it for me at least was PayPal for some reason.
PayPal isn't, but well,
It's
actually,
a debit card.
it is a debit card, but I actually think that, well, it's not a bank card.
Okay. Yeah, because everyone else has changed out the cards for me. You know, so I got all these RFID.
Bank card, right? All the bank. So, but it's a bank. But PayPal has its own rules. PayPal doesn't have regular banking rules, actually.
I see.
PayPal has different. Yeah, they have different rules and banks, which I they can also screw you like nobody else. But but actually, I mean, PayPal. What's scary is that when did PayPal become like the better choice? How scary is that? PayPal is actually the better choice today.
Yeah, that is scary.
We do not have advertising with PayPal, but PayPal, hey, we're here, okay? PayPal. I'm just saying, I mean, realistically, PayPal honestly is the better choice. They really are, which is so scary because, I mean, but banking, okay, one of the interesting laws in the EU, oh, hold on, where is this? This is Greece. In Greece, they passed laws that if people have taken money out of the bank recently, the police are allowed to go into their homes, raid their homes, cut open their mattresses. I'm not making this up. This is the God's honest truth. This is the truth. The police are allowed to cut open their mattresses and search their homes for any hidden money. Now, that is so scary.
If that doesn't tell everyone that they don't own anything, I don't know what else will.
But I mean, we're on a wave, right? It's a progression. So these are the kinds of things that I say when I say pay attention. Pay attention. I mean, we need to seriously get together and protect this country. And that's all that we have left. We don't have jobs. People that think they've got jobs, they're kidding themselves. They're kidding themselves. I mean, there is no business that isn't doing layoffs. Huge businesses, the biggest, most powerful businesses in the world are doing huge layoffs every single month. Everything is crashing. We need one thing, each other. That's it. That's all we have is each other. We need to get together. We need to be good to each other. We need to let the trolls, aka the AI of fake trolls, war game people that are studying our responses, we need to not play the war game. And we need to stop shopping, working, participating in their world, July 5th through the 7th.
You need to remove all those useless distractions and focus. Get your eye back on the ball and what really matters, because we are completely distracted from what really matters. And I think these coming days could be a good awareness.
Very powerful.
Awareness.
It's more than an awareness, though. It will stop. I mean, if we stop, they will have to listen. Because they can't function without us. It's the only power we have. It's all we've got.
It is all we got.
That's it. That's the only thing we can do. So if we want our children and our children's children to live, because I think that the way we're going, with the level of destruction to the planet that is being put on us and the kind of power that is being wielded, I don't foresee our children having children. Actually, I mean, that's not the plan.
They will be sterilized one way or the other, either through the environment or through brute force, one or the other.
Yeah, totally. And how scary is that? Like, can you even believe that? Like, they're doing these crazy things. Oh my God, they did that in Africa. They were sterilizing girls. I mean, I can't even. I mean, and it just. I mean, do we want to be Africa? I don't know. I thought this was the United States of America. That's what I thought. Yep. I was hoping to have the United States of America go on. The North American Union. Okay, so we'll talk about that in our next show. The North American Union.
There you go.
All right, I want to thank you so much. Thanks for talking to me today.
Oh, it was very, very fascinating. I loved it. I love hearing your voice. I missed our call. So.
Awesome! Excellent. So thanks, and we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. So thanks, you guys, and until next time.
Until next time. Later.
Bye. See you then.